Hey all, welcome to Slay the Spire. Today we're attempting Ascension 17 with the Defect. I started recording on the 3rd floor, so let me give you a quick rundown of my deck. It's mostly a power deck, 2 electrodynamics, 2 white noises, capacitor, defragment, loop, self-repair, static discharge, machine learning, as well as a bunch of defensive cards, generic algorithm, equilibrium, boot sequence, go for the eyes, and charge battery, as well as all the base cards for the Defect. So the way I got to this point is I mostly just played powers. I relied on white noise. I was hoping to get either something like creative AI or echo form, or really any other power. Let's also briefly review our relics. So I tried really hard to avoid any sort of elites that I could. You can tell from my relics, the first boss relic was Velvet Choker, which means that I can only play 6 cards, but I also get extra energy. And then I also got Sozu, which means I cannot get any new potions, but I also get energy. And then the other relics I got through events, so I really just tried very hard to avoid any sort of elites. So I was hoping to get Mummified Hand, and I finally did it. So now I just need a creative AI, and then this sort of power deck can take off. So you can see in this sort of fight that white noise is sometimes useful and sometimes not as much. I have to also say, I was somewhat distracted during this gameplay, mostly because I was attempting a lot of Ascension runs, and at some point, it's very hard to just focus fully on them. So I was constantly tabbing out and doing something else and then coming back. But yeah, be aware, this is not my first attempt at Ascension 17. So at the shop, I took Clockwork Souvenir. This makes sure that you start each combat with 1 artifact. Now the reason I did that is because I was hoping to get Bias Cognition, in which case that artifact would have been very useful. So the Writhing Mass fight was very difficult. The problem with this deck is that I didn't have enough offensive capabilities. So for example, in this turn, if I played Go for the Eyes, and the enemy decided to do a large hit instead of the small one, there was nothing I could have done. Same here, I was debating whether I should play the Strike card, because I could have just taken a lot of damage. It worked out fine, but I did lose a lot of HP. I do have self-repair active here, so I'll heal back 7 at the end of the fight. But in the end, I will end up with 29 HP, which is not that great. So here, just to play it safe, I do rest. And then the Transient. This was a very hard fight. So I didn't take any damage for the first 3 turns. But Ascension 17 adds in more challenging moveset. So the Transient is around for 6 turns, not 5 as in previous Ascensions. And then the 6th turn is even more damage than before. So after a while, there was just no way I would survive. So I had to use the attack potion, which was really lucky, gave me a Thunderstrike. And even with that, in the last turn of the Transient's life, I still took a bunch of damage. So after a Transient fight, I just had to rest. I rested twice to get back up to my feet, and went from 6 HP back up to 56 HP. Now I thought this run was already lost, but then I did find a Storm in the shop. And because I was going for this sort of power build, the Storm was part of what I needed. The other part was creative AI. But since I had 2 white noises, I was hoping that maybe one of the white noises will give me a creative AI. So AoE fights were generally fine because I had electrodynamics. Electrodynamics is great if you have as many lightning orbs as I do. Yeah, so here you can see sort of a typical turn where I just play a bunch of powers and then any defensive cards that I have, and then I can kill relatively quickly. So before the final boss fight, I upgraded Storm to be in my opening hand. And that's actually slowed down the footage for this, and this is a very, very important fight. So I start off with Storm, and then Loop. And then since we have so much energy, we can pretty much play everything each turn. So the first turn I had 18 defense and was getting attacked by 24, so I did lose 6 HP. So next turn I was really hoping for the white noises to give me something good. Now, unfortunately they didn't. I got Capacitor and Hello World out of them, which is fine, but I was really hoping for something like Creative AI, Echo Form, or anything that's really good. That second turn I took a bunch more damage. The next turn I got Electrodynamics, which is nice. but since now all of my orbs will deal damage to both enemies. Defending was getting a difficulty here, though. You can see I was only able to defend by 16. I was getting attacked by 30. I had another 36 incoming, but I did have Genetic Algorithm, which would have helped. I played all the other cards first, Self-Repair, Dual Cast, and then played Genetic Algorithm. And since I had so much leftover energy, I did drink the Swift Potion. Now, if I didn't have the Velvet Choker, I would have been able to play that upgraded strike. And I want to note here, the upgraded strike would have dealt exactly 9 damage. I probably would have attacked the backliner, Dono. So I just want you to remember, I could have, if I didn't have the Velvet Choker, dealt another 9 damage to the backliner. After that, I defended really well against the next 36 incoming. At this point, my orbs were dealing 25 damage each turn, plus another 5 from the loop. So this turn, I had to kill. There's no way I could survive this one. I mean, I was able to play everything, but still. So note how the enemy has exactly 34, or at least the backliner has exactly 34 health. And my lightning orbs are going to deal 29. So there's a difference of 9 damage. If I was able to play that strike card, I could have dealt that 9 damage and I could have killed. And then the turn after that, I could have killed Deku with all the other frost orbs I had. But alas, that didn't happen. So this was actually an example of an unsuccessful run. One of many, I should say. But anyway, it was still very interesting. I got very close. But anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.